Today's sponsors are Angelo's Interiors, specialising in kitchens, bedrooms and bathrooms. Go and visit their showroom today in Gillingham. Their web address is angelosinteriors.com. And De Medici Associates, Chartered Structural and Civil Engineers.
Based in the UK with a worldwide reach.
Visit their website on demediciassociates.com. Welcome to the Cherrywood Podcast with me, Rachel Burridge.
And the master of podcasts, Simon Burridge.
Hello everyone, it's Rachel and Simon from the Cherrywood Podcast.
Hello, we're doing frequently asked questions today.
Yes.
So it's frequently asked questions about videography, wedding videography. We have a list of questions here.
Okay. Right, okay.
First one.
Can we choose our own music?
Yeah, you can choose your own music. What you do have to do though is have a PPL license, and that's something we can help you with. We will guide you to the right websites to get a PPL license where your video can have music of your choice. One thing you can't do is share that then on Facebook. It's your own personal video that is allowed to have copyrighted license.
But we do put it to, well, what we call it is plinky plonky music sometimes, don't we?
Yeah, you have the option. You will have music. Your video will definitely have music, but it's down to you whether you want it to be Ed Sheeran or an unknown copyright-free song. We will always put music in your video. We will not put it over. Are you taking the coasters off on me? We will always put music in your video. We never put it over your ceremony or anything like that. And we would never put it over your speeches. But in between, getting ready, guests arriving. If you've chosen, which most of you have, you've chosen a song to walk up the aisle to. If you think about that, right, it's going to take you 15 to 30 seconds to walk up the aisle.
Depending how high the shoes are.
Depending how long the aisle is and how high the shoes are, and if your dad or person taking you up the aisle can walk properly. So think about it. You've chosen this song. It's a very special song, and you're only getting 30 seconds of it. So what we would do is we will create the start of your video with that song. So we get the whole song involved, and the guests will be arriving. You'll have shots of the venue. You'll have a little bit of you getting ready, the groomsmen walking along. All of that will be created in that whole song. And that song will finish when the bride or the other groom gets to the end of the aisle. And just before the ceremony starts, that song will finish. So you'll get that whole song in its entirety, just how you've probably imagined it in your head. But when you think about it, you're only getting 30 seconds of it in real time. Okay, so I think that's good enough.
Or it might be the bridesmaids walk up the aisle, so the bride doesn't actually hear that part of it. So, now with that song, she'll get to hear the whole song instead of just the 10, 15 seconds that she's walking up the aisle.
Exactly. Going on to music, if you want to show your wedding on Facebook or other social media, we will choose a song for you that's a copyright-free song. And it can be a montage of the whole day. So if you want to go the montage route, we can do that. Not everyone's going to watch the whole 45 minutes to an hour and a half of your wedding, but they want to see the best bits, like the end of the match of the day, So
because that is actually one of the other questions that we've got, the length of the video.
Right, length of the video is based on how much you lot talk, and it's also based on are you getting married in a church, or are you using a registry office, or are you just doing a civil ceremony? Civil ceremonies, the quickest one I've been to lasted 8 minutes.
Yes, that was last year, wasn't it? Yeah.
But churches, you've definitely got an hour's worth of footage just for the ceremony.
Well, I've had one, is it Church of England, where they break the bread, and that went on for an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. So we say 45 minutes to an hour because the largest scenes, I just call them scenes, the largest scenes in a wedding video are the ceremony and the speeches. The speeches are all down to you guys, how long you want to talk for. I've been at a wedding where we've had an 8-minute ceremony, and I've had the the bride's father, the groom, and the best man all just get up and say thanks for coming and sat back down. So I've had an 8-minute ceremony and a 5 to 10 minute speeches. I've also been to a wedding where I've had an hour and a half ceremony and an hour and a half speeches.
So that in itself is 3 hours long, right?
So we give you an average. We will not cut anything. You'll get all of your ceremony. You'll get all of your speeches. Yep. You can have the option of having separate videos with these things on. We have packages where you can just have separate ceremony, separate speeches, separate first dance, and then a montage of your day. We have another package which is your whole day in one video. So that video could be 2 hours long, and it could also be 45 minutes long, 30, 45 minutes long. I try to feel, if I feel that the ceremony is going to be really short and the speeches are also going to be really short, I will fill it up with a lot more guest stuff going on. All right. Hopefully, I've answered that question for you. The next one we got.
Okay, sorry.
The next one we got is.
So, obviously, insurance. People worry about insurance and if we are insured.
So, obviously, we got public liability insurance, and we've also got camera insurance. So, if someone was to knock a camera over, we can get it replaced. Touch wood, in 20 years, I've never had to use my insurance.
We've got car insurance.
Car insurance, yeah. Life insurance. We are insured. And this day and age, venues are asking for that insurance before we even turn up. So if you use a certain venue, we will get an email from them saying, please prove your insurance. We're also drone operators, and we're insured for 5 million on drones as well. We use a very lightweight drone, which means we can get closer to guests than one of the large drones, which have to be, at the moment, the law is 50 metres away.
So there's no getting in the bride and groom's face with the drone.
How many weddings have you filmed? Oh my God!
That's
how many
a hard
weddings
one.
have I filmed?
Because we've filmed weddings separately, haven't we? We've been out on jobs and we've both had separate weddings to film.
So we've got 20. We're celebrating our 20th year in wedding videography.
So even if we say we did 10 a year, which we do more.
We do far more than 10 a year.
Even if
I've done 1,000 weddings, I'd say.
Wow.
Easily 1,000 weddings. Easily.
When you think of it like that, that's actually quite amazing.
And the thing is, we don't do just weddings. We film promotional videos. So we don't bombard our lives with weddings. And there's 2 reasons for that. We've got children. We want to spend some weekends with our kids.
We have to have
And the other thing is, if I don't want to treat you guys like a conveyor belt. I don't want it to be the same old thing, just knocking out a wedding. We edit a wedding based on your character.
Yeah, to their style, because we always have a pre-wedding meet, don't we? Yep. So we always sit down with our couples, we go through what we're going to do on the day, we go through how we're going to film their day, and basically we get to know a little bit of their character. We ask them questions like, what sort of music do you like? Have you got a first dance? And by those little questions, we already know a tiny little bit about them, so we can edit. I mean, we've had a wedding in the past that was really rocky. Do you remember the one at the village of Dode? Is that right?
Lost Dode Village. Lost Village of Dode. Yeah.
And that was really quirky because it was really old fashioned where you had to tie the rope and stuff like that, wasn't it?
That's right. And sometimes couples don't know. They're asking us to film their wedding 2 years in advance. They don't know what music they're going to have. They don't know what music's going to come out. That doesn't even matter. We gauge the music you've chosen on the day. The most important thing is when we edit it, we know what music it was you used. So, it's not a problem. And we can edit it in a style based on the characteristics that we've learned from you and the music that you've chosen. Anything else?
So there are a few more questions actually. Travel costs. Are travel costs included?
I think it's the first 20 or 30 miles is free, and then it's just 45p a mile afterwards. To be honest, on average, you're looking at about £20 extra on there for travel.
We have done Leeds.
We've done some at miles away.
Yeah.
But you're not look. It doesn't go anywhere near £100. It's never gone anywhere near £100. And there's times when you're not just at one venue. You're at a church, and then you've got a 20-mile drive to the reception. That's very rare, but it's still not that much. It's like we took £35 or something. You know what I mean? It's not any, considering the cost of your whole wedding, this travel isn't going to be hitting you hard.
The next question is a deposit needed, or what deposit is needed?
Right, so we have two forms of payment. You can have, this is just us, everyone's different. You can give us a 30% deposit. And then I believe it's 6 weeks. It might be 8 weeks. It's really good, isn't it? Is it 8 weeks?
Well, it might even be 12. No, I actually think it's 12 to 8 weeks before the wedding.
No, it's not. There's no way it's 12. This is how good we are, isn't it? We can't even remember what our payment terms are.
It's 12 to 8 weeks before the wedding.
Okay, I'll take your word for that. But we'll let you know. So the deposit is 30%, and then some weeks before your wedding, you'll have it on your quote sheet. It will give you a date of when the final payment's due. There is another option. If you're finding it hard, financially hard, we can agree. Can you stop clicking that pen? Thank you. Sorry about her, everyone. I won't bring her to the weddings.
No. Look, I actually find this part of our business is quite a good selling point because we're married. We know how expensive weddings are, right? So at the end of the day, if we can help our couples and give them this selling point, it is actually a very good selling point for our company. And we have been commended. Is that the right word? Commended on this ability.
Yeah, we haven't told them what this selling point is.
Because I'm going to let you do it.
Do you want to tell them what this selling point is? Or?
Okay, right. So this selling point.
We are married, but we don't get on.
Well, I just thought, because it's a load of video questions.
You still haven't told them what the selling point is. I know,
but I'm just saying, because it's a load of video questions, you're doing all the talking.
Once again, I'm sorry about her, everyone.
So the selling point is we offer... Oh, God, I've gone blank.
She doesn't know what the selling point is.
No, the selling point is...
Basically, we agree a deposit with you guys. If you're struggling, everyone wants their day captured. If you're struggling, we would agree a deposit, and then you can pay us what you want, when you want, leading up to your wedding day. And we keep a track of it. You keep track of it. It's 0% finance. You're not paying any more than someone else would pay. And if you're still struggling and your wedding day is coming up, we will still come and film it, but the only stipulation is we won't start editing it until we've received the final payment.
I mean, we've had a bride before that was paid us, I think she was doing £50 a month, wasn't she? And we had to say to her, according to our records, you're done. Stop paying that.
Have I finished? Yeah. She didn't even realise she paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, we know how expensive weddings can be. So we just want to help with that little bit of, with the burden of the money and the financial side, because at the end of the day, we want to capture your wedding as it is, and we want you to have this experience, because wedding video, I mean, I'm a photographer, but the wedding video is amazing. It really is.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Next question
Not yours, though.
Can I make changes? Yeah, you can make changes.
I'm assuming they made to the wedding video. Can I make changes in life?
Well, you can change us if you want. If you find someone that's more suitable, you'll obviously lose the deposit because we've lost the day. We've lost the day. You'll lose the deposit. If you're if you've made your final payment, you will lose your final payment. But remember, your final payment is 8 to 12 weeks before your wedding. If you make a change 8 to 12 weeks before your wedding day, you're going to expect to lose the final payment. It will happen with a venue. If you cancel your venue, you will lose the full payment if you've paid the full payment. So it's the same thing. It's
all about you are paying that deposit to book us out for that day.
Yeah.
Because we have inquiries after inquiries. If we're saying to you haven't paid your deposit, that's not your day yet. You need to pay that deposit to secure that day for you.
Exactly.
If you're then saying, we don't need you anymore, then that's a day that we haven't got available to anyone else at the moment.
That's a day that we've blown out 4 other couples with. So you may think, you'll be able to get more work. No, it's a lot harder to get a last minute wedding because people are booking a year, 2 years in advance. So that may not be even what you're asking. Making changes to packages, yes, you can make changes to packages. No,
more the video side would
both really.
So can they make changes to the video if need be?
They can say, actually, we want drone footage now. Okay. And they could even say, actually, we don't want drone footage now. And if they say that before their final payment's been made, then their final payment will be reduced. But if they say it after the final payment, then they're better off just keeping it because, they've committed to that price. Okay.
Could that also mean, can they make changes to the video? If they see the video, could they make changes to the video?
It's a very vague question. It just says, can I make changes? Yes. So if there's something on a video you don't like, or if there's a relative that you've had a row with,
we've done that.
We can try our best. We've got a story of, we don't really want to go too much into it, but
something happened.
We have video. We took photos. Yeah, we took photos, and there was this guest that turned out to be a bad person, and he was in the centre of a group shot. And we managed to remove him from this group shot. It's the hardest one to remove because he was dead centre. And we managed to remove him, and they were really pleased. So we can make changes like that, and we can make changes to, if there's a song, sometimes we choose a song thinking they're like this, and sometimes they're like, we don't like this. It's very rare, but I felt the song would go really nice with the film. They didn't like the song for some other reason, obviously. So.
We've had one bride and groom that asked for speeches to be reordered differently or something as well, or something like that. But it's very rare that we get asked for changes, because it's very normally very set out and structured how the day goes, right?
There's been a miscommunication with. Sorry, police are just coming to arrest us. Sometimes there's been a miscommunication with styles. A couple have thought they were getting a certain style. When you say style, what? I'm just about to.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe you should just wait for me to finish what I'm saying.
I didn't know what you meant when you said style.
Maybe you should just wait for me to finish. So a style of, whether they want it done in boho or what am I trying to say? You've really thrown me off now. Why'd you do this?
I didn't know what you meant style.
So sometiremember people think they're getting a cinematic style and they haven't even chose the cinematic style.
Right, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And they go, I thought you were going to have us talking over the top while we were walking slowly. And well, that's not the package you chose.
Yeah, right,
but if you want, I can change it to that.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by making changes. Let's move on, because you're annoying me, Rach.
Raw footage. Would you ever give out the raw footage? Or is that more for you?
Raw footage is a hard one. That's down to our discretion, really, because we've given you the best bits. We've given you the best bits. There's nothing else there.
We're not going to hold out.
No, we're not holding out.
We're not saying, here's a little teaser. We've got more for you.
What you've got to understand with raw footage is it's 200 gigabytes at least. 200 gigabytes of stuff that you're not going to really
And a lot of it is us setting up, isn't it? A lot of it is, right, if we zoom in here, right, we need to now move it because someone's in the way of here, or they've set up in a different position. So we obviously haven't stopped. We've just moved the camera. So you don't need all of that from us, because it's really boring.
I've had a groom that a year later became terminally ill, right? And then they've asked for
as much footage as possible.
I've even created a video for that groom, like a nice video for him. And then I will go through, if it's circumstances like that, I'll go through and see if there's anything extra for it. But it's
very rare.
You need to give us a decent reason why you want the raw footage, because it really is pointless and you're wasting your money. And raw footage isn't going to be cheap. If you want the raw footage, it will.
Well, we're sending over.
You're not just giving it to you for nothing.
How much did you say?
200 gigabytes.
We're sending that over to someone, where a normal wedding is. What would you?
Normal wedding is 5 gig.
Yeah.
5-6 gig.
Yeah.
And that it can be compressed or whatever, What equipment do we use? Right, personally, I use Sony camcorders for the ceremony, because I believe camcorders are far more reliable when it comes to recording than DSLRs. But DSLRs are a lovely camera to use for the in-between stuff and second angle and things like that. But my priority at your wedding is to film the whole thing without a camera failing. And DSLRs are quite good at stopping themselves. And yes, they're getting better. They don't overheat as much, but I'm not taking that risk on your wedding day. That's why we film with multiple cameras. So I use Sony camcorders, and I use Lumix GH6s. I have a GH5 still, and I have a S5, I believe it is. S5? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
a Lumix S5. We also have Canon cameras. Rachel does most of her photography with Canon cameras, and I can also film with a Canon R6.
Because I actually started out on Olympus, like my dad gave me his old
years
camera,
ago. Yeah.
and he said play around with this.
Mm.
So I was an Olympus girl for years, and then it's only within the last 5 years. I think 5 years.
No, rubbish. 5 years just before lockdown.
Okay.
Yeah, mate, you've had a Canon for over 10 years.
God, it was 5 years long.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's.
Yeah. Sorry about her. Once again, sorry about her.
I feel very negative thoughts coming from you today.
Yeah. Because you clearly don't know what you're going on about.
You use drones as well.
Why
obviously.
choose timeless wedding films? Why choose timeless wedding films?
Why have it filmed? I'm assuming they mean.
I don't even know what that means.
Let me see.
I think it is, it's about...
Yeah, it's
so,
why.
yeah, I think what they mean by that is why have it filmed?
Mm.
Right, there's a difference between having something filmed and having photos taken. You'll have loved ones there that within 10 years are no longer there, and there's a difference between seeing them on a photo and then seeing them living, breathing and talking. Believe me, I've been there where I've watched my dad, our wedding video. It's far better than watching. You see pictures of those people on your walls of your house on a regular basis. What you don't see is them moving around, talking,
laughing,
being
joking,
themselves.
and
That video is priceless to me. So it's well worth having your day filmed. The other thing you've got to think of is when you're getting ready, your bride getting ready, loads of stuff's going on that you don't witness. When you're a groom getting ready, loads of stuff's going on that you don't witness, and you'll get to see that. God, I sounded really creepy.
You're really
didn't
like
I?
husky.
I started going into a bit of Barry White then.
Right, let me read some questions out.
Okay.
Right, so is there only one videographer?
Sometimes there's only one videographer, but that doesn't mean there's only one camera. I shoot with 2+ cameras nearly all the time, so you're getting multiple angles. It's a lot more memory that I use because I just push record on a couple of them and then hand hold the other one. But it's cheaper for you because I'm not paying for an extra videographer. We do have options where there's extra videographers, and sometimes Rachel will also film with us as well.
And
if she's not doing photos, you'd film with us, wouldn't you?
If it's bride and groom prep, obviously I will go and film the bride prep. You will go and film the groom prep.
Yeah, that can happen. If it's bride and groom prep in the same venue where you're just a corridor away from each other, which is probably a bit of an exaggeration, you're a bit further away from each other than that, but you're in the same venue, then it's doable. You do it because, when it comes to me editing it, I'm just going to use moments of that in time. You're not getting the full bride prep, the full groom prep. It would drive you nuts just having that.
That would be 2 hours.
You don't need the full bride prep, the full groom prep. And sometimes I try and talk brides out of having their preparation filmed because I like the film to be you guys turning up as a princess, fully made up, not half makeup, radio blurring out, mum walking past in her pants.
Mum walking past in her pants. Or your mum.
It sort of takes a bit of the thing away, but some of you like it. It's fine. Oh, is that your teeth? Yeah, it's just we need someone to book a wedding now so I can repair her teeth.
So obviously, do you work with photographers? Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually ended up marrying a photographer. Yes, I do work with photographers. Do you want to use the mic, Rachel?
Sorry. Meals. Now, this is a good question. Will you need a meal on the day?
Right. Okay. I think this has been covered before. Right. Obviously, we eat like other people, but we do not demand a meal. All that we ask is, are you going to feed us or not? That's all we ask. It's in our quote sheet. It says, will refreshments be provided? If they won't be provided, I am not going to be angry with you. I'm just going to bring my own food. Simple as that. That's all it is. If you want to feed us, thank you so much. That's very kind of you for feeding us. If you haven't got the money to feed us, no problem. We'll bring our own packed lunch. But one thing is, don't leave us starving. If you say you're going to feed us and all of a sudden your venue doesn't feed us, and that happens.
Yeah,
right. Venues just give us pathetic a sandwich for 12 hours work. That is so annoying, and that's not your fault.
No,
it's the venues.
We would never say that on the day either.
There's certain venues, I'm not going to diss anyone, I'm not going to mention any names, but there's certain venues that say, don't worry, we're going to feed your photographer and videographer and then they give you this measly sandwich, and they've even cut the crust off of it.
So you get a sandwich that big?
And sometimes I couldn't even tell you what's in the contents of these sandwiches. So we've got them venues black marked, and we will bring our own packed lunch even if they are feeding us.
Yeah, that side of it. It's just more of a case of, look, we're working 12-hour days. We need to know when you sit down for your wedding meal, are we now going to go out and get something to eat or find somewhere to eat? Or are we going to sit down and have a meal brought to us? That's all we need to know. It's not about you need to feed us, because there is, in some contracts, there are people that say, you have to feed me. We are not like that at all. It's more of a case of let us know so we can then bring our own food, basically.
Yes.
So you don't have to feed us. Don't feel you have to feed us, but just let us know.
The other thing is, can we meet before the wedding? Of course we can meet before the wedding. We can do it via Zoom, with a phone call. You can come and see us.
Yeah.
Or we can come and see you. You know, we've usually got most of the stuff covered by then. If I'm honest, we're happy. Once we've got your quote sheet filled in, we're fully happy on coming to shoot your wedding, even if we don't see you or talk to you. But we understand that you are going to want to have chats. And the other thing is we can help you. If there's something gone wrong with another vendor or something like that.
You're looking for someone? Or,
we know all the vendors, so we can help you out with that. That's not a problem. So yes, we can meet you beforehand, and you can tell us about surprises you've got up for the groom or the surprises you've got for the bride.
We've had like things like singing waiters before.
Yeah, singing
if you've got
stuff.
Anything like that, let us know, because obviously we're the ones.
Remember, the speeches happen. The speeches happen usually. Sorry, you get. What am I trying to say? When you sit down to eat, right? We sit down to eat. That's our break.
That's
usually,
the first time that we've said
people
that.
don't like being filmed eating stuff. We've had a couple of couples saying you didn't get any shots of people eating. No, we didn't get any shots of people eating because people don't like having photos of them eating. Yeah, with their mouth open, chewing food. So no, we don't. But what you've got to tell us, if you've got singing waiters and don't tell us, we're going to be sitting down.
Yeah.
We will catch our... we missed the first 5 minutes of it where we've got to grab a camera and put it up. So the other thing to bear in mind is some speeches are before the food and some speeches are after the food. We need to know that information because we'll sit down and relax and then realise. So we're filming the bride and groom coming in to sit down.
Mm-hmm. But most of the time we will ask these questions because people normally phone up and say, can I have a quote for this or email? And when we phone them up, we will say, have you got any special events going on? You know, singing waiters, owls coming in with the rings, anything like that, because we need to know basically the ins and outs of your wedding. So we are in the right place at the right time, capturing all this for you. And we need to know things like speech times, before, after, that sort of thing. Lengthwise, we don't need to worry about. If it is going to go on for 2 hours, please do let us know. But
exactly.
But, you know, most speeches will get covered in about 20 minutes, half an hour anyway. But we need to know these little events that are happening. So just let us know. Just pop over an email. Even if it is, like Simon said earlier, for your other half as a surprise, send us a separate email. Send us a separate email and just say, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. But don't tell him. And then we are aware of this and then we will know. Okay, I've got one last question.
Yeah.
How do you receive the finished product for video side?
How do you receive? Right, so there's a number of ways. We still do DVDs, but please don't have a DVD because they're not in HD. And it's just not the future. So we have that option, but that is not our standard option. Our standard option is a digital video download, where you can download this video, keep it, put it on a pen drive, stick it in the back of your TV, and you can watch it that way. We also have a link. We have a thing called Wedflix. So if you go on our website, there is a page called Wedflix, and it looks very much like a famous thing called Netflix. It's very similar to that. It's done in the same way as Netflix, where we have wedding photography on there, wedding videography. If you like, it's password protected, so no one else can watch it. If it's got copyright music on it, it's definitely password protected, so only you can watch it. And that is a good way of watching your wedding, but you will always receive a file with your wedding video on it.
Sorry,
that's all right.
The hiccups. Is that all the questions that we've got?
I'll brisk through the other questions. Do you use drones? Yes. Do you travel? Yes, we travel anywhere around the world. If you're getting married, but you've got to obviously pay for the flights and accommodation. How do we pay? There's methods. You can use PayPal, you can use cash, you can do a balance transfer. How do you accept payment? Like I just said, you can do that. We've even got a tap and pay machine as well. But balance transfer is the preferred method. How long will the film last? We've already covered that. How much is a second shooter? That's a hard one, but you're probably looking at about £500 for a second shooter. It all depends on how much you're having filmed, how much your day you filmed. Here's another one to remember. We have a lot of people say to us, I've got a twilight wedding. Will that be any cheaper? No, it won't be much cheaper at all, because your twilight wedding is still going to contain exactly the same as a day wedding is going to contain. And we're still making exactly the same video. We're still spending exactly the same time editing. And so twilight weddings will not be much cheaper. Midweek weddings will be a little bit cheaper. We have a discount immediately as soon as it's from Monday to Thursday, I believe there's a discount. But twilight weddings is still exactly the same thing.
Because you're still having bridal prep, ceremony, speeches, group shots, all of that is standard for a normal wedding.
That's right. And it's the same amount of work for us. Okay. The other thing to bear in mind is the tip of the iceberg scenario that we say, you think you're paying this money for us to turn up on one day and shoot your wedding. That day of shooting your wedding is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to work for us. Okay. There's another 2 weeks of editing at least.
It's even the prep beforehand, right? Like the meeting the bride and groom.
Yep.
The day before, we are prepping for the wedding. So we are charging batteries, we're getting the camera stuff ready. All of that is included in the prep for one wedding.
If we were honestly to try and work out the hours we spend on your wedding day, we'd be minimum wage.
Oh, easily.
We would be minimum wage.
Lower than minimum wage.
Yeah. So it's the tip of the iceberg. I don't know what I'm saying there. How long will it last? Covered that.
That's pretty much it.
What does the wedding package include? We have 4 wedding packages, and they all range from you're better off contacting us when it comes to wedding packages. We also do an hourly rate. I think it has to start with 3 hours at least, but that's probably not the cheapest option on an hourly rate. But we're not fixed to our packages. So we have 4 standard packages, but
it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes you guys don't want to talk. You don't want speeches at all. Sometimes you just want to get married, have a little bite to eat, and then you want us to leave. We do that as well.
We tailor-make.
But it's a tailor-made package. So standard ones get used 99% of the time, and then we're tailor-make something based on someone with extraordinary requirements. I think that's it, Rach.
Yeah.
That's the first sensible sort of podcast we've had where, you were still annoying, obviously.
Well, I thought it was very much a you podcast.
Yeah, it's very much me. So let's have a quick chat about who was on. Now, we're doing it the right way around now. So we had to film this again because we talk about who was on.
Yeah, sorry.
So we had Damian Krogolowski. That sounds about right.
What was that name?
Damian Krogolowski. He is from Flash Professional Services, and it's like a cleaning company, and they clean everything. They do commercial buildings. They clean AstroTurf, driveways, everything. Really good guy. He was from Poland. He was on last Friday. Have a watch if you haven't watched it, or have a listen.
Coming up,
he's also the voice of Heinrich from A Bug's Life.
I was in the middle of saying coming up.
Yeah, I know. Well, you should have waited for me to finish.
And what we've got coming up?
And what we've got coming up is Darren Holton. Darren Holton's from Rainbow International Services, I think. Did he change? Rainbow International.
Oh,
something like that.
Now you're putting the pressure on yourself.
Darren. Rainbow International Services. Sorry, Dow. Please, he's a friend of mine. Sorry, it's Rainbow International, and they deal with if your house is flooded or burnt down or got mould in it, all the damage they recover.
They do other jobs as well, but we will put a warning out for that podcast because Darren does go in. We ask questions, but Darren does go into a little bit of detail about work that he has done. It gets a little bit graphic, but we're obviously warning people. If you don't want to know anything about that, please be aware.
Yeah,
there is a warning even in the podcast as well. We do say there is some graphic information coming up. If you don't want to listen, turn off now. So there is a warning in the podcast itself as well.
Yeah, so Darren deals with road traffic accidents and suicides and horrible things like that. And he goes into some detail about some bits. And we just don't want any of you to be upset about it. All right? I think that's it for us. How sensible were we?
Well, I hit my mouth on the thing.
Yeah, well, we're still rubbish at it, but we're sensible. Just like to thank you all. Currently, 68,000 views, Rach.
And that's
of all of them collective, and shorts, including shorts and stuff. And thank you for subscribing, because our subscription's gone up through the roof. We predicted a certain amount in 6 months, and we've nearly hit that amount in 2 months. So
thank you.
Glad you're enjoying it. We'd love to hear from you. If there's anything that really annoys you and you think maybe they could do it this way, it'd be better, that'd be great.
But I'm really sorry, I can't get rid of my husband. He is part of the podcast.
I do find the thing is, I find her annoying on here. I just find you so annoying, because I'm going to say something, then you say something, and then you say exactly the same thing about 12 different ways. I'm like, wrap it up, will you? Wrap it up. In my head, I want to strangle you, but I do love you so much. And
no, you're not making out to me. You're making me cry now.
Oh, don't be like that. You winding me up. Don't she see what she does? What she does is we go in public, and if I've wound her up somehow, because I like winding her up, she will pretend to cry. She can cry on cue, and it's so embarrassing. And I'm just there going, she's like, everyone, she's just joking. She's just joking. Oh, it's so annoying. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Everyone's harsh to their loved ones. I love you more than anything in the whole world. And I'm glad, well, you're not feeling better, but I'm glad it's getting looked at.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that another annoying trait of mine?
Yes. Her with that pen.
Well, it was you with the coasters earlier.
The coasters weren't making a noise. The coasters were not making a noise.
Yeah, but you weren't concentrating. It was like... Please like, she's at her teeth again, good. Please like, subscribe, and whatever else you have to do to help boost this podcast. Share. Tell everyone. If you think it's funny, and if you know anyone else getting married, say, have a look at these two. They're quite funny. We have lots of other wenders. Lots of other wenders on. There's lots of other... Oh, my God. Wedding vendors.
Lots of other wedding vendors. We're going to get a lot more on. And
Wenders.
These people are really good of wedding vendors.
Oh my God, what is wrong? They are really good.
I'm malfunctioning.
Vendors.
I'm malfunctioning now. I've gone on too long,
but if you are a wedding vendor listening to this and you want to come on, drop us an email, come down, and we can have a chat.
Yeah.
Or we get to know.
We share the love. If you're a photographer and videographer and want to come on, come on. There's plenty of bride and grooms to go.
Yeah.
What am I saying?
To go around.
That's it. I am really malfunctioning now, so I'm going to have to go. But thank you, everyone, for viewing. I hope you enjoy it. Please send your messages.
Like, subscribe.
The best way to contact us, if you want to sponsor the podcast, you could be a wedding vendor that wants to sponsor this podcast, because it's getting viewed a lot. And we're really pleased with that. If you want to sponsor it, everything you can do through www.cherrywoodpro.com/podcast. Thanks very much, and see you next week. Or listen to us next week. Yeah.
Bot.
www.bot.
There is a star that shines at night. You can see it from my window. It shines so bright. There is a thought in all of this. One thing that connects us all, makes sense of it. is a world spins in space. I've seen it in the photographs, an awesome place, and all the world would fall if you were to cross that line and make that call. Stay with the wolves tonight, and we'll run till all of this has come undone. And stay with the wolves tonight, then we'll run till all of this has come undone. And wade into the water, there's always landfall in the distance, way beyond the curvature of the earth. Light and love and longing, the semblance of belonging we were. There is a star that shines at night. You can't see it from my window sometimes.